Joseph back here on the Jared the Boss Man show. We're joined by a friend of the show, Football Game Plan. He has the game plan for you. He can got the X's and O's. He know what to tell you: inside zone, outside zone, trap, crack back, play. He got it all for you at Football Game Plan. My man Emory Hunt. Emory, long time no hear, my good brother. How is life on your end, man?
Hey, man, long time to hear, man. I appreciate you bringing me on. Life is good, man. Just ready to talk some ball.
Yes, indeed. Well, we have it on Dave McGinnis after you. I want to talk to you about the Jags-Titans game and the trust of Blake Bortles, because Blake Bortles lights out against the Patriots. Then he plays the Titans, who always been the Jaguars' bugaboo, whether good or bad. The Jaguars give the Titans trouble all the time. But Jacksonville has a world-class defense. They have weapons, but can you trust the quarterback to make plays with those weapons? And can Leonard Fournette stay healthy and off the injury report this week with those hamstring and foot injuries? He always seems to have crop up since his days at LSU.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. When you look at the fact that you have a back that has these hamstring injuries, these fast twitch injuries, it's always tricky. You want to be sure he's fully 100% healthy before you throw him back out there. But I do believe Jacksonville can generate offense. T.J. Yeldon, Corey Grant, good backs. They have a good stable of receivers. Defensively is where they hang their hat. But they really have to make sure a guy like Blake Bortles can really step up and continue to play consistent ball. He had a good week, and then last week he went back to normal. He has to have a lot of good weeks in order for the team to reach its fullest potential.
Yeah, and yeah, he has to, man, because I feel like the only thing about that game I don't trust is him. I trust everybody about Jacksonville, but Blake Bortles the quarterback. And that's why if I was Jacksonville, Emory, I would have gave Drew Brees 2 years, $80 million, and make him turn me down to try to win it now if I was Jacksonville this offseason.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I'm surprised they didn't take a quarterback in the draft. I'm surprised they didn't go after, let's say, a Teddy Bridgewater or even a Tyrod Taylor earlier in the summer when it was looking like Baker Mayfield will probably play sooner rather than later. So it's interesting to see. This is the route they've chosen, and they could put them back in the same position that they were in last year, not getting to the ultimate goal because they decided to tie their wagon or hitch their wagon to a guy in Blake Bortles.
Now, Emory, this guy has been lighting up all these fancy points, all these touchdowns. My man Pat Mahomes with that nice Southern drawl he has for his teammates there, man. 13 touchdowns, but we've seen this from Andy Reid before, Emory, with the Eagles and the Chiefs. They start off hot, but then the Chiefs kind of level off once the league kind of sees what they got going on. Or do you think Patrick Mahomes takes them above that with his dynamic ability, kind of like gunslinger, like Brett Favre-like mentality, that he'll get them over the hump, and they won't have that usually every year Chief lull of 2 or 3 game loss in a row, and they go on a kind of a win one, lose one streak here. Can Mahomes overcome Andy Reid's clock management and coaching style and cover up a lot of the warts that the Chiefs may have defensively as well?
I think so, because when you look at their offense and how it's constructed, he's perfectly fit for this offense because of how he can attack the ball or attack deep downfield with his arm. And that right there, when you look at that element combined with Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, guys that are vertical threats, legit deep threats, it's going to be tough to play defense because if you try to back up and play safe defense, now they're going to be able to run the football with another star in Kareem Hunt. So their offense can be their best defense. We've seen this before with the the St. Louis Rams at the time, with the greatest show on turf. Their offense was number 1 in all categories, but their defense was only 16th. So you don't have to have the best defense just if your offense is great enough, and they have an offense that's definitely great enough.
Now, do you believe they'll win the AFC West now after what you've seen out of 3 weeks, or do you think the Los Angeles Chargers and Denver has something to say about that?
Well, I think this is a big game coming up against the Broncos. This is a game that, could tell a lot, because I do believe the Broncos, if any team has a defense to slow them down, they have great pass rush. Their linebackers are fast and active. They can get after the quarterback. Offensively, they got a ton of weapons. They got good weapons themselves. So, and we know the Chiefs' defense isn't where it wants to be. So they definitely can have cause some problems for a team, definitely. So this is going to be a great matchup, probably the best matchup they've seen so far this year, and I can't wait to see it play out.
Now, speaking of that division, one more team, the Raiders, the mess that John Gruden has made, trading Khalil Mack for those picks. I think that trade kind of broke them. It fractured their team in the locker room and in the front office. There are guys who reading reports where Gruden's guys are going at it with the old McKenzie guys. They don't see eye to eye on personnel. So, do you feel like the Raiders just kind of playing out the strings until they get to Vegas, hoping to be good in Vegas, or this is just year one of a tragic run for them, leaving Oakland, going to Vegas for a long time to come with Gruden his decision making? Because I feel like Gruden's a good coach. He's not a good GM.
Yeah, you kind of hope it's just a 1 year thing where they're having these little issues, but uh, you know it's tough because you have a situation where the team was going in the right direction until Carr got hurt last year, and then we saw it all fall apart. So it's just weird to see them go from 2016 to where they are now. And you hope Gruden, like you said, he's a great coach. Just hope that at some point they can weather this storm and get it back on the right track. But they are right now devoid of talent, on offense, defense. They don't have pass rush. All of those things is leading to where they are right now. And I think, even though they got the first round picks for Khalil Mack, who's to say they're going to sign those first round picks when if they turn into guys like Khalil Mack? We just saw them trade away their best player because they didn't want to pay him in exchange for first round picks. So what if your first round picks? What if you hit on both of them and you don't really want to pay them, and now you're sitting there back in the same situation?
Got that right. You just never know. That draft picks to me are just potential. They're not nothing tangible we can look at. And if you hit, great. If you don't hit, you don't hit. But you trade away a great player who's making a difference in Chicago. You see the difference making on the field for those guys, and you lost. He talks about we need to rush the passer better. You had an all-world pass rusher on your roster. You still want to pay the guy.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Again, it's one of those things where you don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face. So I just think that they have to figure out a solution to get this thing squared away. Otherwise, they're in danger of just losing a lot of games.
You got that right. And now this is a team who I've seen lose before, Emery. The Dolphins, starting 3-0. Do you believe in the Dolphins, or is it once again a Dolphins optical illusion?
I think both situations or both thoughts can be true. I've seen the Dolphins live. I saw them against the New York Jets up here, and it was interesting because the Jets had a chance to win that game. They were able to turn the ball over, and then they subsequently turned the ball over themselves. That throw in the end zone, that was a huge play in the game because they just got the turnover from Ryan Tannehill. So I still don't know which Dolphins team I'm seeing, but in the process, they're still winning. They're undefeated, and they have their biggest test of yet this upcoming Sunday against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, if they beat the Patriots, hey, it's September. The Patriots struggle in September. That's their extended preseason for the Patriots. So if you get them now, you good. But if you come October, November, December, good luck.
Yeah, you got to get your wins while you can because, again, wins, they add up. So if they can just stockpile wins, it's going to be hard to keep them out of the playoffs.
And last one, from the AFC side of things, we go to the NFC. Nick Saban here. Baker Mayfield. I love Tyrod Taylor. Once again, he got sniped by a rookie quarterback or a potential rookie quarterback. And last week, watching that game, Tyrod looked at me like he was skittish in the pocket. He wasn't looking down the field. He was ready to pull out and run. But when Baker came in the game, the ball came out quick. He's hitting the throws. He's hitting all his reads. He's making check the line of scrimmage. So, basically, one to Emory. Did Hugh Jackson err in not starting Baker Mayfield for day one? Because it seemed like to me that guy had those guys energized, running that offense. Or was it a thing of it the Jets wasn't prepared to see Baker Mayfield and just kind of maybe was playing vanilla defenses that they wouldn't play against Tyrod Taylor? Maybe more want to blitz a little bit more. Maybe it's more fire zones. Maybe it's more cover two bands, things like that. I feel like that they really didn't prepare for Baker Mayfield, so it got shocked their system, and the Jets got off killed there last weekend against Cleveland. But do you believe Cleveland will win maybe 5 games now with Baker out there, or they'll probably still be 3-13, 4-12ish?
Well, I thought they were going to win 6 to 7 games with Tyrod Taylor, and if they had a kicker, they'd be 3-0, as
True.
opposed to they were 1-1. So I don't think Tyrod Taylor played terrible, and I just think that when you look, I honestly think, maybe this is a conspiracy theorist in me, but the play calling was definitely different when Baker Mayfield got in the ball game. I felt as though Todd Haley maybe was sandbagging a little bit as far as allowing certain plays to be called. It seemed like the entire playbook then was open for Baker Mayfield to get him in the groove. And when Tyrod Taylor was in there, it seemed like they kept calling quarterback draws, and almost trying to get him hurt, or trying to get him banged up, which they succeeded. And they ended up now putting Baker Mayfield in the game and allowing him to play. We know Tyrod Taylor played well where they were supposed to win those 3 games, but they didn't have a kicker. But now with Baker Mayfield in the fold, we'll see how much of what he did in college they incorporate. And I was there during training camp for 2 days, and he can throw the football over the middle of the field. He can throw the football on the outside the numbers. He had really good rapport with Rashad Higgins. So I still feel the same way about the Browns with Baker Mayfield as I felt about the Browns with Tyrod Taylor. This is still a very talented football team. They have a decent running game. The offensive line is still a work in progress, but they have good pieces there. The receiving core, I think, is excellent. And defensively, they are a top 5 defense. So they still have the seeds of success to be way better than they were last year. They already are in 3 games by the way they played those games. And I think that's just going to continue to move forward, even with the rookie quarterback.
Folks, that's the AFC with Emery Hunt. Coming off after our next break, we'll talk about the NFC with Emery, Dallas Cowboys, the 49ers, Jimmy G. All up next after the break on the Bossman Show. Bossman Radio Network, BossmanRadioShow.com. We back at you. Stick with us. All right, folks, back in the Boss Man Show with Emery Hunt, football game plan. He broke down the AFC with us last segment, and we're going to the NFC. And Emery, I want to start with the Dallas Cowboys offense. I mean, they got rid of Dez Bryant. They got rid of Bryce Butler temporarily, and then they brought him back, surprisingly. I didn't see that coming. He's back on the roster. Elliott's back. Offensive line took some hits, I think, but nobody going down the field for the Dallas Cowboys. Witten retired. And Scott Linehan is unimaginative still, just running basic offense, same little routes. Certain guys are Beasley in the slot running option routes. It's just not nothing to imagine about the Cowboy offense. So I wanted to ask you about their offense, your thoughts on the offense, and they got Dak Prescott coming for a contract here real soon. If you see somebody you're going to invest $25-30 million in with the offense he's putting up right now, what he's playing in his office with Linehan, the way he's putting up number wise right now.
I think so. I think people are short-sighted when they look at Dak, and it's unfortunate because certain quarterbacks get scrutinized differently. You talk about a guy that was Rookie of the Year in 2016 and was in the conversation for NFL MVP as a rookie, along with his cohort in Ezekiel Elliott. So this is not a bad football player. We've seen this before, and it's a shame because Dak has talent, proven it on the field, and for a 4th-round pick, he completely outplayed his contract. Now, when you look at that juxtaposed what's going on this season, yes, he has to play better. Even last year when he talked about, he had a regression, they still went 9-7. Dak didn't play bad last year. This year, he's trying to make work with things that, he doesn't have to with somebody else. They say, he needs help and weapons. But since it's Dak, they're going to say, it's all because of Dak. So I just have a real problem with the coverage of Dak Prescott and what he's doing with the Dallas Cowboys. He can play. Now, as far as their offense, yes, he still has to play better. He still has to make work with what he has. And those guys have to do a great job of finding opportunities for him to have those big plays. You have to look at your personnel. You can't expect your receivers to be Dez Bryant. You have to work within their skill set. You can't expect your tight ends to be Jason Witten. And you have to get back to what you were doing really well 2 years ago, which is running the football. Now that you have Zeke back there healthy and also not suspended, take advantage early on in the season, run to get a lead, pass it to extend that lead, and run to close out the game. I think it's not that hard for them to have success. They have a good defense. They have pieces on offense to be successful. They just have to put the right pieces in place to be successful.
I'm with you on that. I feel like, hey, you gotta work with what you got, but I feel like a lot of it's coaching too, because I see it with Sargisian here in Atlanta how his play calls sometimes just baffle me. Like, what are you doing, sir? Like so. You gotta have good coaching as well. And then, see, he comes with that same game, Emory. Seahawks. Should they go on and cut Bay and trade Earl Thomas and rather keep this charade going on? I feel like he's going to fracture that locker room eventually. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to get hurt. He doesn't want to practice and put his body on the line for this team who won't pay him. So should they maybe call a safety hungry team like Atlanta, Carolina, even somebody in New Orleans who may need a safety? And gets cut bait now rather than keep him on the roster, keeping them unhappy. That bad force around these young guys as Pete Carroll and John Snyder wants to start a new culture there without all those old they leaving the boom guys. Get the last one out of there and just start it now rather than keep him there knowing he doesn't want to be there anymore. Play for these guys and put his body on the line for his team any longer.
For me, I'm of the mindset either you're going to pay your best players, or you're going to get rid of disgruntled players. I'm on both ends of the spectrum. So if you want to be here, great. We have to pay you. If you don't, let's find a spot for you. Just playing this game of playing him if he doesn't want to be there, and that's just a bad recipe for disaster. And I would, if a player doesn't want to be, this is my own personal philosophy. If a guy doesn't want to be there, let him go, trade him, do what you got to do. If he wants to be here and he's a key player, we have to work out a contract. We have to get a deal done to keep him happy and to keep him involved in building the culture of the team. So I can see it from both sides. Either get rid of him or sign him, but you can't play both sides of the fence.
I'm with you. Now, we say that same division, Emory, with the 49ers. Jimmy G got hurt scrambling. Could have went out of bounds, maybe say his ACL, maybe. Then he also cut back in and he tried to blow his shoulder as well. Now, do you think he will learn from this and not do this again? Just take what they give you. Cause I feel like defenses, if you show you're going out of bounds, they ain't gonna come and hit you. If you show I'm giving up, I'm going out of bounds, but if you try to make a move and make a cut, now he's hurt out for the year. Thank God he signed that big contract when he did. And then play the franchise tag game. As Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, said he should have did. If he did that, he'd really be up right out of paddle if he did that. So looking at that, should the 49ers allow to call to Cleveland about Tyrod Taylor now? Because, hey, C.J. Beathard doesn't get the job done, and whoever they sign not going to get the job done. They want to say their year, maybe compete. Do they go after Tyrod Taylor, or they say, hey, we got Jimmy G on the contract, we'll take the bullet this year, we'll just be bad, get a high draft pick, put on our defense, maybe get a weapon or something. So, again, for San Francisco, Emory, what's your outlook for them and Jimmy G as well going forward?
Well, they have a lot of options available. I would even look for a guy like RG3 who has had experience with Kyle Shanahan. So I think that's a good fit if they want to make a trade. Or maybe they just want to trust their guy that they have on the roster that played last year, played 4 or 5 games for them, that understands that system and is ready to hit the ground running. That also played in the preseason in C.J. Beathard. Now, he is definitely not Jimmy Garoppolo, but at least he understands the system. He can get you in and out of bad plays. Get you out of bad plays into good ones. He understands the checks that needs to happen at the line of scrimmage by being in that system. And he played a lot last year and played the preseason. So that may be an option. I don't think Tyrod Taylor would be a good fit. I mean, it would be a good fit to go out and grab a former 49er that knows that area. And Colin Kaepernick, he's sitting there free for you. You don't have to give up any assets. So as far as Jimmy G is concerned, I think for him, it's mostly about just getting healthy, because quietly he has been banged up anytime he has played an extended period of time. Even in New England, he got injured. Just last year, he had an issue. Now this year, he has the knee. So there's always something with him when he gets extended playing. So it feels like the 49ers jumped the gun a bit in paying him this extensive money. It's funny how he hasn't proven anything, but Dak Prescott, who has and played a full season and hasn't missed a game, now they're questioning whether or not he should be the starter. So this is the issue I have with the NFL and San Francisco, because they took a gamble on a guy that didn't put it out there on film for a full season. This is the result. This is what happens when you jump the gun and doesn't and don't wait for things to play out as opposed to paying someone too early.
Got that right. Now, let's go to the NFC North. Do you believe in the Bears with Trubisky playing the role of Trent Dilfer slash Brad Johnson with the defense they have out there with Khalil Mack and those guys out there, and Roquan Smith and those guys rushing the passer and causing havoc on defense?
On paper, it looks great, but in practice, he is really struggling. And this is a guy that probably shouldn't have went second overall. When you draft someone second overall, you're expecting them to hit the ground running, especially in a draft where you had Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Kaiser, and a host of other guys that played a lot of games in college that played them well. Trubisky wasn't better than the guy that he took over for, and Marquise Williams, or he wasn't better, and he wasn't better than the guy that he competed against in the same conference in Gerard Evans. So those two guys are out the league, didn't get a sniff in the NFL, and here's Trubisky, the second overall pick, is playing like a guy that was picked up in the seventh round. So they have to get him to play significantly better because you look at that offense, they have good receivers, two good tailbacks. That offensive line is phenomenal. And defensively, they're a top five defense, just like the Cleveland Browns, and they have a special player in Khalil Mack. Their linebacking core looks active, aggressive, and it works well in conjunction with their secondary, who does a great job in press and also taking the ball away. So this team is ready to make a run in the playoffs, but they got to get just average play from Mitch Trubisky. If they can do that, they can make some noise.
I hear that, Emery. I'm with you on there. They could do just show a pulse on offense. They can do something, get there, something done. Now, last one I got for you is this: Tampa Bay has been the talk of the league with Fitz Magic. He kind of showed who he was at Monday Night Football against Pittsburgh a little bit. They probably gonna go with Fitz again against the Bears with Jameis coming back off suspension. So my question to you is this: after this week at Chicago, when does Jameis watch start? When does he see that field, or if any at all? If I'm Dirk Cutter, do you go with the potential on Winston or the veteran Fitzpatrick because he needs to save his job in Tampa? Who would you go with if you're Dirk Cutter? And when do you believe Jameis will see the field this year?
That's the easy decision. You go with the best player, and the best player is Jameis Winston. And this is a guy that played well in the preseason thanks to Todd Monken's play calling, which allowed Fitzpatrick to have some success. And he's only missed 3 games, and I'm pretty sure he's been working out. He's played with this team before. He's a veteran. He knows the checks and all those things that I just mentioned about the other quarterback, C.J. Beathard. This is your starter. This is your franchise quarterback. This is the number 1 overall pick. And people need to stop playing themselves and thinking Fitzpatrick is anything more than what he is. He actually did his job great this time. Before the season, people thought this was easy 0-3 for the Bucs. They come out this stretch 2-1. Backup quarterback did his job, kept the ship steady, kept it afloat actually, and now you can go back to your starter and pick up right where the backup left off. This is exactly what you would want if you're a head coach. So I think it's ideal for him to just throw Jameis Winston back in there right away because we saw in the preseason the difference from Dirk Cutter and Todd Monken play calling is that Monken is going to get everybody involved, and we saw Jameis have success with the backups while Fitzpatrick was having success with the starters. So that shows you that, okay, Jameis played well in the preseason. He's ready to go. There's no need to push this envelope for Fitzpatrick any more than what we had to. We were only forced to play him 3 games. We did that. He did a great job. If we need him to come in case of an emergency or something like that, we know we can trust him for at least 3 games. Anything after that is pushing, and I think that's where teams get in trouble with Fitzpatrick, and I think the Bucs have to do the right thing by their football team and put Jameis Winston back in the lineup.
I'm with you there, Emery. Jameis should be back in that lineup. Brother, before you go, man, tell the people about what you got going on at football game plan, what you and the crew over there got going on, man.
Well, we have a lot going on. We're doing our NFL team previews for this week. We have our college football previews up and ready to go on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/football game plan, so you can check that out there. Follow me on Twitter at @FBallGamePlan. And if you're a college football fan and you want to check me out on some of these broadcasts, tomorrow, which is Thursday, I have a broadcast on ESPN3. I'll be the color analyst for the East Stroudsburg Millersville game at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Saturday, I'll be the color analyst for Shippensburg and Westchester, ESPN3, that's noon Eastern Time. I'm sorry. So those are 2 games I'll be on broadcast for this weekend.
My man, I didn't know he was a color commentator now, my man. Hey, congrats on that. My man is doing Big things, ESPN 3 now for you people. Check out my man Emery Hunt. Emery, so thanks a lot. We got to do this again real soon. I'm sorry I had been this long, but we're going to make this more frequent for sure, my brother.
Definitely appreciate it, man. Anytime, just let me know.
All right, folks. Emery Hunt, football game plan on the Bossman Show. All right, folks, back in the Jar the Boss Man Show. Whether you're joined by a great guy, I got to meet him this summer at Titans training camp. They're color analyst for 145 The Zone with Mike Keith on Titans Radio. He broadcast the marathon game against the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how Coach Mack did it, but he did it. But it's my man, Coach Dave McKinney on the Boss Man Show. Coach Mack, how things have been in good old Nashville, man?
JR, everything is good here in Nash Vegas. We're doing good, man. Just won two big division games back to back, with a little bit of a depleted roster. The coaching staff and the players did a tremendous job of pulling it together. Of course, coaching all the years that I did, over 30 years in this league, there's times when you just have to put together a game plan and make it work. And the players and the coaches did a great job. And so we've got a big game here this weekend against the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. And so things are rolling pretty good, brother.
I hear that, Coach. Now, Coach, I must ask you, man, what does that speak for Coach Vrabel's culture that his guys stuck together with all the injuries they had all for preseason long? Scratchy started 0-4 in preseason, didn't do it well against in preseason with Luke Falk and those guys. A lot of guys on the roster not there anymore. Started off a little scratchy, but now 2-1. Marcus came in off the bench replacing Blaine Gabbert. The team played Jacksonville, who's everybody thinks a world beater with their defense coach, but the Titans held them to 6 points. And Jacksonville, always tough for the Titans, but they always seem to beat them, Coach. So how happy is Coach Vrabel and the guys and you and Mike Keith and all the people around the Titans organization about how the team is played out the preseason? People are like, oh, they're 0-4. What's wrong with Coach Vrabel? But now they're playing well now, Coach.
Yeah, well, Mike Vrabel, I'm all on board with him. As I said, I've coached in this league for, 31 years. I know good from bad, and he is a really good football coach. He and John Robinson are a great team together, John Robinson on the personnel side and then Mike Vrabel coaching this football team. He's got a really good staff. He's got a good blend of young and coaches and experienced coaches. And what Vrabel did and what he did as a player, and he's doing the same thing now in his coaching career, is he's a full speed ahead guy, and he makes no excuses. And the thing I love about him is that after that first ball game, and you mentioned it in Miami when we had 2 rain delays, and so it turned into a 7.5, 8-hour football game that day. And we were broadcasting the whole time, and he was having to keep that team together. And plus, then losing the players that he did. He lost 3 Pro Bowl players in that ball game, but he never made one excuse, and he came back and with the players that he had and with his coaches, they put together a game plan, to be able to beat the Houston Texans here and then go down to Jacksonville, who won this division last year and, who was within 1 game of going to the Super Bowl and who had just previously the week before destroyed New England and put together a brilliant game plan, and then loses his quarterback in that game. And Marcus Mariota has to come into the ball game. And then Matt LaFleur did a wonderful job of adjusting his offensive game plan on the run. And then he caused Todd Wash, the Jacksonville defensive coordinator, to start chasing his calls. And what I mean by that is when you get another signal caller on the other side of the field chasing your calls, trying to defend the last play that you ran instead of moving forward to the next play, then you've got a chance. And it was really a great team win, but it was also a really physical, gutty win, for that coaching staff and for that locker room, and just really uplifting for the whole organization and really for the whole city. So the city is really fired up now about the Titans because they know that these players believe in this coaching staff. This coaching staff has shown how resilient and resourceful they are. So this is a big challenge this week against the reigning world champions.
And the key is also, coaches, there was two division wins. Very key when it comes to tiebreakers down the road. Those division wins always going to push you over the edge there.
Yeah, yeah, and that's always huge because the way you get to the playoffs, the way you get to the tournament in the National Football League in 16 weeks, you got to win your division. And especially when you win a division game at home, you have to do that. But when you win a division game on the road, that's like putting two in the bucket for you. And so that means everything. And we're very disappointed with the loss to Miami because that is an AFC game, and that will clearly count in the standings as we go forward, trying to move through this season because you only get 16 shots at it. But the resiliency of this football staff and this football team and the position they've put themselves in now, again, the challenges don't get any easier because, as I said, I've coached in over 650 NFL games in my career, and the next easy NFL game I coach in will be the first because there's none of them easy in this league. And so you've got to get prepared, and whether you've been successful the week before or you've not been successful, you've got to push that behind you, learn from the lessons, go through the postmortem, learn from the mistakes, and then move on to the next week because this train that is the National Football League, it doesn't stop for anybody.
You got that right, Coach. And speaking of the injury of Marcus, Coach, what exactly is his injury? Because I think it's like an elbow and a hand. His hand's kind of numb. So from what you know, Coach, what is it?
JR, let me tell you something, brother. I dropped out of medical school after the first semester because it was too easy. I wanted something really hard while I was playing football. So I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. I just know he couldn't grip the ball and he couldn't spin it right. And so if you're a pitcher or a professional pitcher or a professional quarterback, you kind of need to be able to grip the ball.
You got that right,
so
Coach.
that was his issue. Now, what it was medically, I'll have to go back and check my medical records. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I got you, Coach. Now, what I've noticed about the offense is that they got Henry and Lewis splitting the carries. Then, man, Coach, you tell me if I'm wrong now, but it seems like to be there running the outside zone with Lewis, and a little bit inside zone with Lewis as well, but mostly Derrick Henry's running the inside zone. Is that how I'm seeing it correctly when I'm watching it on the film, or I'm missing a little bit here, Coach, about that?
JR, here's what the deal is. This whole offense is predicated off of the outside zone, so they're both going to run that. And then, of course, the last 2 weeks, and again, showing the versatility and the creativity of these offensive coaches and Matt LaFleur and his staff, they've incorporated a little of a wildcat in there with Henry. And so you've got two backs that are very, very complementary to one another. And don't mistake Lewis for just a guy that can get the edges. This guy's tough. He can run inside too, and he has. And they're both really good backs. And the key is this is such a game specific game plan type of an offense that each one of these guys is going to have a specific role week to week, but both of them are incorporated into the entire offense. And once you haven't seen this entire offense yet because you haven't had all the pieces healthy enough to run it yet. But once it gets to Jen, and you will see both of them doing everything that's required in this offense, JR.
And Coach, what about Rashard Matthews? I know that he came off PUP there, and I know he kind of made some comments about he wanted to get involved a little bit more, but he's on way his turn. So when you see Rashard Matthews getting the good football shape, and getting more incorporated in the offense with Corey Davis and those guys, kind of get that possession receiver down the field, kind of hit the middle a little bit there, do some more what Delaney was doing as well from the small one out there in the slot maybe.
Yeah, well, again, all of those receivers, are going to have to take up the slack from Delaney Walker because, Jonnu Smith doesn't need to be the next Delaney Walker. He needs to be the best Jonnu Smith.
Amen.
But everybody else has got to take up the slack because Delaney Walker was a huge part of this offense, and Rashard, along with the rest of them. Now, Rashard, of course, missed a whole lot of time. And again, this league moves so fast, that you've got to get your feet and your legs back under you and your timing under you. So even if you're a vet and you miss time, it takes you time to kind of get back in the flow, and that's where he's getting now.
And Coach, let's talk about the Titan defense. I know they lost a big piece there in preseason there, but hey, you got some tough football players on that defense with Kevin Byard, Wesley Woodyard, and Jarrell Casey. The defense played good last year, but these guys are playing even better this year, if you ask me, Coach. And even against Miami, it was a kick return that kind of blew that game open, but they still played tough defense in that game as well, Coach. And of course, last week, 6 points to Jacksonville. So, talk about the Titan defense, Coach, how good those guys are playing, how Vrabel has those guys gelling together. They're flying to the ball and attacking them with DNPs, what they got going on, man. I love what they're doing, Coach. I love it.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive defense. And of course, Dean Pease, I mean, I've always been a big fan. You know, I've coached against Dean's teams, and they're very well prepared. He's a very good defensive play caller on game days. I mean, he can adjust and figure out things pretty quick during the game. And he puts his players in the position to make plays. And really, seriously, I mean, these guys on defense now, this is a nasty group. And I mean, they go at it, and I love watching them play. Of course, you know, I grew up in this league, you know, as a defensive coach and a linebacker coach, you know, before I, you know, was a head coach and all of that, coordinator and all that other stuff. I love a good defensive team. This defensive team has got a really tough mindset, and the thing about it is they really don't care who gets the credit. I mean, they played great team defense. And Wesley Woodyard, I mean, I'm a huge fan. He's having a great year. I mean, this guy's, you know, his 11th year, he's even getting better. And Jarrell Casey, I mean, I was here, you know, working for the Titans as a coach, you know, as an assistant head coach when we drafted Jarrell, and you knew he was a special player coming out, and he's done nothing but get better and better his entire career. So, I love watching this defense play. And again, as I said, that game last week, I was smiling so big up there in the press box, 9-6. That reminds me of the days back in the old black and blue NFC North division when I was coaching with the Bears, where, you know what, you just stood in the middle of the ring and punched each other until somebody fell down, and the Titans were still standing at the end of that one.
You got that right, Coach. Because I want to ask you about the NFL's new rule, roughing the passer. And I heard for William Hayes, he hurt his knee trying to not follow Derek Carr. What's your thoughts on that, on this rule, and how all these penalties have been called roughing the passer? You know, I don't want to protect the quarterbacks. I get it. They are the money. They are the show. But it had to come on. Football is football, Coach. It's taking away the game that me and you both love and watch for so many years. It's like it's almost getting always that coach two-hand touch almost to a degree. Well, you can't touch them. That's a penalty.
Well, I mean, the rule itself is hard to officiate. It's nearly impossible for a defensive player to do. I mean, I don't know how you sack somebody without falling on them. I mean, the things that Clay Matthews has done, you know, 3 weeks in a row that he's been fined for and flagged for. I mean, I don't know what else you do. I mean, that, to me, again, I mean, once they put the rule in, and now, I mean, I understand. I get it. You know, if you're trying to pin the quarterback's arms to his side and then body slam him on the ground or tip him up and try to hit him on his shoulder to do, but that's not what these guys are doing. And it's nearly impossible when you're going as full speed as you are. And, I mean, you've got to get to the quarterback because the way the rules are anyway, I mean, the whole field's wide open because, you can't touch them at that second and third level, the receivers. And so if you can't sack the quarterback, I mean, it's problems. I don't know how you sack somebody and not fall on top of them. I understand not pile driving them, but sacking them and falling on top of them, these flags they've been throwing, I mean, to me, it's hard to coach. It's even harder to do full speed for the players, and clearly it's hard to officiate.
You got that right, Coach. Coach, I also want to share with you, Coach, because Coach, this bugs me, Coach, how offensive coordinators, Coach, get too cute on short yardage plays. I mean, like, we going 5 wide receiver shotgun on 3rd and 1. We're gonna run power maybe, or even inside zone. I've seen toss cracks or fake pitches, and we losing yards. So, as a defensive coach, do you like smile when you see an OC get too cute on short yards play, and I just run the power right at you, or sneak to get the first down, keep the chains moving?
Well, I mean, really seriously though, Jr. I mean, it's really easier to defend somebody lining up in there because at least you can gap up, pull everybody up. Because now, look, in the old days when you could hit receivers and you could jam them up and hold them up and those types of things, and hit the quarterback, well then, I want them to start trying to get to the edge and you're jamming the receivers up. But now you can't touch anybody. You know what I'm saying? So they're just taking advantage. I mean, this game has expanded horizontally so much because the way the rules are now, I mean, it's tough out there in space. I mean, it really is.
You got there right, Coach. That's what I got for you, Coach. My next guest is Michael DeBurn Turner right after you, Coach. So, Coach, when you had to play this guy, how did you defend my man, Michael DeBurn Turner, our Falcon legend here? How'd you deal with that guy?
He's a beast. You know what? He's a beast now, and he just knew that you better be gapped up, you better be gap sound. I mean, you better be, you better be on it because look, I mean, a great player, no matter when he plays, is a great player, and believe me, he was a great player.
Yes, indeed. He's a great person too, Coach. He's a great guy. You would not know how great of a guy this dude is. Real laid back dude. Great first personality. Sense of humor is off the chain, Coach. I love that dude. But he's a great man, Coach.
Well,
Just like you.
you tell him Coach Mack says hello, and Coach Mack's glad he doesn't have to try to get somebody to tackle him anymore.
I sure will, Coach. Hey, Coach. I'll tell you what, man. Look forward to seeing you against New England. I'll be up there in November for New England, the Patriot game, Coach. I know the Falcons are off that week on the road. I come up there and see you guys. So I would cheer for you guys against the Eagles this week. We need y'all to beat them for us because they beat us down here. We need y'all to get that win for us. Help us stand as Coach. We definitely be cheering for the Titans down here in the ATL. Because I tell you what, Coach, a lot of Titan fans down here more than you think, Coach. A lot of them are down here. Listen to you as well and tell me about it.
JR, I love being with you at training camp up here this year. That was so much fun. So look forward to you being up here in Nash Vegas. And in the meantime, you hold it down there in the ATL.
Yes, sir, Coach. Talk to you real soon, Coach. Have a great one, Coach. Talk to you real soon, man.
See you, brother.
All right. Coach Mack on the Bossman Show, people. All right, what's back on Jared the Boss Man Show? Got a special guest for you as promised, joined by Falcons legend, number 33 in your hearts, the running back, extraordinary Michael Turner. What's good, Burner? How you doing, my good brother?
Yeah, what's good, man? How you been?
Man, I've been great, man. We've been better the Falcons for that game out on Sunday, but
Yeah.
we got another week coming against the Bengals, so it's all good, brother.
Yeah, it was a little heartbreaking. You never want to lose to the Saints, but, it's the NFL, man. You just got to put that week behind you and move on to the next.
Now, Mike, I just had on Dave McGinnis, Mike. He wanted me to tell you he's glad he don't have to stop you anymore. You guys give him headaches, man. So tell me, how was it going against Coach McGinnis, man? What was the defense like to go against that guy defenses when he played with the Rams and the Cardinals? How was it, man?
I mean, with me, it was like one guy that I wanted to pick out, but he's been on some good teams, played on some good defenses. So it wasn't just him. It was when I played against those teams, I always had to get ready against a gang of guys. So it was like, they I'm pretty sure their plan was to try to gang tackle me and stuff like that. But he was a good football player and had a good career. And much respect, another brother of the Shield, man.
No doubt, well, bro. Speaking of their brotherhood, man, with so many guys going down, Mike, how does the Falcons keep their brotherhood together, keep the same mentality with next man up? Because you're losing Kiki Neal, you're losing Rico Allen, Deion Jones. Tack was out. A lot of guys on defense are going down. So how does the brotherhood stay together when their main men aren't out there with them in that battle out there each Sunday?
You know what? It's National Football League. You expect injuries to happen, but our situation is a little unique because you don't expect the three defensive leaders to go out. But, guys just got to pick it up. Guys got to step up and show the reason why they on this football team. Dan Quinn has a lot of confidence in those guys. That's been the backups, and now that's going to be into the starter role. So we're going to see what they got, see what they made of. It's, either put up or shut up now.
Mike, do you see more of Bleedy Ray Wilson maybe with now Rico Allen out? Because maybe he can play some safety a little bit, be in a nickel and dime packages. I feel like he could play some safety if you need him to with Casey back there. He knows the defense, and you want to play fast, quicker than quick. Talk about playing fast, playing the ball, attacking the ball, and when guys out there thinking too much, and Bleedy can actually, know the system. He won't be thinking as much as a guy off the street, maybe. So, how you feel about replacing Neal and Allen with maybe Bleedy Ray Wilson a little bit more, using more Poole, maybe put Poole back there in the back's end with the safeties, maybe put Bleedy down the slot. So, how you feel about that?
No, that's all up to the coach. I just know Casey's gonna be at the free safety, and then the nickel and the strong safety situation. They gonna figure out what they're gonna do there. But it seems like Dan Quinn already has a plan. The team got to trust his plan, just like the fans got to trust it too. Uh, so we'll see on Sunday what everybody got. What's the plan? What's the game plan going to be moving forward? Guys got the opportunity to shine, and I know some of those guys that hasn't been starters are looking forward to this opportunity to go out there and play some football.
I hear that, man. I feel like it's gonna show up what a lot of guys are made of. A lot of guys, like you said, want an opportunity to play, and they can see what they can do in this league because
Mm-hmm.
somebody like all guys are like, man, if I get some more playing time, look, I can show what I can do. Now it's on you now. Let's see what you got. You know,
Right, right.
let's see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know how it is. Ever since high school, something. It's always those guys in the locker room saying, "Man, I wish I was out there. I'll do this and I'll do that." And then, when it's time to shine, they don't show up. So, but now, hopefully, that doesn't happen with this Falcons situation. I know those guys are going to be feeding off each other, pumping each other up, going out there and making some plays. And I hope if things could be a little rocky in the beginning, they don't get too discouraged and just keep on trucking.
And I think may help the back end, Mike, is a little bit more of a pass rush. Now, do you foresee maybe some more slot blitzes, maybe some double A gap blitzes, maybe to generate some more pass rush? Because I feel like Breeze had all day to throw the ball Sunday, if you ask me. He was just picking his spots there. So, Dalton's not as good as Drew Brees, which is good. It helps us out. He's not as good as Breeze, so you don't want to worry about that as much. But still, there's a guy on the outside, and AJ Green, that's a beast. You don't want to give Dalton time to see find that guy either down in the middle of our defense.
Uh, you know what? It's no time to change the scheme. The coaches are going to stick to what they've been doing. And as far as the Drew Brees thing, it's hard to get sacks on Drew Brees. Man, he gets the ball out quick, and if not, he's a good scrambling quarterback as well. So people don't really give him enough credit for his scrambling ability as they should, because he don't take off and run down the field. He just find another spot in the pocket and just throw from there. And he's been doing that his whole career, man. I played with him in San Diego, man. He's always been that way. A little shifty guy that's hard to bring down, hard to get to. But loading teams up with blitzes and everything like that, I don't know. I don't know if that's in the game plan. I don't know if Dan Quinn likes to do that. It's all up to the head coach. It's his philosophy. The players going to have to do what he envisions his team to be, not what players he has out there and causing blitzes just because he feels like guys are out.
And you know what I think, Mike? I was on a show today. I was telling the host that, hey, I think for the Falcons, maybe our best defense may be our offense. I know it didn't work out for us on Sunday, but when you got a quarterback throwing 5 touchdowns, no picks, and playing a flawless game like that, maybe like how the old coach used to be. How those teams were, hey, with Peyton Manning's offense was their best defense, maybe. So do you feel like that may be part of the Falcons' game for them having Matt with Calvin really just coming out strong on Sunday, Julio getting involved, Muhammad Sanu, Hooper out there, Tevin Coleman get the running game going. Hey, that offense can control the clock, check the defense, and be our best defense with our offense on the field a lot, scoring points every time down the field.
Man, you know what? That might be the remedy for this. But in order to make that happen, man, they got to get that run game going. That's the best way to control the clock. Last week against the Saints, we didn't run the ball well. We put up a lot of points, but you look at the rushing yards and the rushing totals, it wasn't that hot. So maybe if they control that, get that sewn up and make that a little better, keeping the other team off the field will be the best defense. You right about that.
No, Mike, I want to talk about the running game with you. To me, it seemed like we had 2 runs last week. It was either the toss crack to the short side of the field outside zone play or a shotgun inside zone play. I feel like there should have been a little bit more, variety than just an inside zone shotgun draw or a toss crack to the outside. It wasn't working. You know, I just felt like we was been ahead
Right.
against the wall. We were running two running plays, which outside zone toss crack or an inside zone draw. We got to do more than that, Mike. We just have to.
Uh, yeah, and you know what? And I'm not in the meeting room, so I don't know exactly what was the game plan as far as running the football. Um, but in order for coaches to get the call them on run plays, they got to make what's due on the run plays as called. They got to show the offensive coordinator that look, we pushing these guys off the football. You got some lanes out here, just let us eat a little bit. I guess they wasn't showing that enough, and we wasn't making wasn't able to get to all the run packages that we wanted to. But it's hard when you're throwing the ball 50 yards downfield to Ridley. Ridley got some big plays going. You got another 50-yard bomb to Julio. Other stuff in the game dictates what happens on offense.
Exactly. Now, Mike, maybe I'm over analyzing this, but it seems to me that Matt is scrambling more this year. Is that the offensive line issues? Maybe they're not protecting and pass protecting as they should. I feel like he's doing a lot of scrambling this year. He's moving more than I remember him moving in a long time. So maybe I'm seeing a little bit, looking at it too close. But how you feeling about Matt kind of moving off the spot a little bit more than usual here?
I think some teams are bringing a lot of pressure to him this year. He's been hit a lot this year. We've been playing some. Look at these first three games, man. We played some tough defensive fronts, so it's not like this is going to be the norm. You got Philly. Their front seven is incredible. Carolina. Some people think Carolina's down line is better than Philly. And then the Saints, that's a rivalry game, so that's going to be amped up, a little juiced up there a little bit. But they protect them. I think they protect them a little bit well last week against the Saints. They gave them a little bit more time last week. Yeah. So hopefully they protect them a little bit more this week against Cincinnati, and he can just hit those targets, man, and get that run game going.
You got that right. And hey, the fans have been hitting me about the red zone woe. Let's take a look here. The red zone woe to me has been solved. The last 8 times in the red zone touchdowns. So I don't want to hear that anymore. That's been solved.
Right.
We don't solve that issue, and I love how our fans, how Mike. Every game we lose is Matt Ryan's fault. That wasn't his fault last week. They ran out of gas on defense last week. They ran out of manpower last week. It wasn't Matt Ryan's fault. We could be 3-0 if it wasn't for a few plays here or there. So I don't want to hear that this Matt Ryan's is this big old problem. Now we want to be 1-2. Heck no. But if we look at the big picture, a few plays here and there, we could be 3-0.
Yeah, definitely we could be 3-0. But it's National Football League, man. Anything goes, and it's definitely can't point the finger at Matt on the loss last week when he got the highest quarterback rating ever for a quarterback that loses the game, and plus he threw 5 touchdowns, so you can't blame him. It just, you know what, in overtime he didn't get a chance to win it. He didn't get a chance to pull it off. They had a little 2-minute drill there at the end of the fourth quarter when I thought that was going to be the drive, but they ended up with like a 3-and-out or something like that, and had to punt the ball away. But I know he's pissed off about the game, but he's going to move on and get his team ready to play this week.
You got there right now, Mike. Now I gotta tell you, bro. I see you doing swagging, bro. I know you can do that swagging surf like you could. I know you're a swagger, bro. You a swagger. I see you, man. You're a weird. I said, world star.
You know what, man? When I hear that song, man, that takes me back, man. Because that was 2008. That's when I first got here. That was when I first got to Atlanta, man. That was my year, man. That was swag surfing, all that stuff in the club. It just brings me back, man. That was great memories, and hopefully stadium can feel that energy. And that's something we're trying to do this year. We're trying to buy some energy in the stadium, get some fans involvement. And they've been doing it. I've been seeing them on the big screen doing it. So hopefully it just keeps getting better and better each week.
I love it. Hey, now I saw our boy Harry Douglas. I'm like, this guy Harry up here. You know he's straight A-Towns. You know, gotta get that
Right,
dude up
right,
there.
right,
Like,
right.
that get Harry up there. I see Harry. Now look, now
Yeah.
I don't know y'all have control, but you gotta get Eric Wings up there too. You know, E Wings really gonna be with it. You gotta get
Oh
him
yeah,
up there.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna get with that. You know, Harry, you know, that's him, man. He was the, you know, he's a crowd hyper, man. He loves to get the crowd hype. He loves to do things to, you know, get guys going. You know, before the games, he used to be in a circle and do a little dance or something for the team. So that's right up his alley. So Eric Weems was my guy too, man. When we played, hopefully we get like a little reunion, man. 2008 reunion or something with all the players from that Mike Smith era to come up there and do a little swag surf for everybody.
You got that right. Hey, man, that man, when y'all got there, man, it all changed for us, and I loved it. You know, y'all dudes had it going, oh, boy. I love that stuff. Y'all had it going.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, let me ask you this, bro. Now, people ask me all the time, like, how are you enjoying being in the media? Now, you're on our side of the fence now, so, you know, how you like being in the media now, being around it, you know, getting to talk about the game now, kind of still around a little bit, though. So how's that been for you, you know?
It's been pretty good. I still, you know, got some learning to do as far as how everything works as far as media, but I you know, I just got a different outlook on things. I just want to provide my little 2 cents, man, or like some of these guys haven't been in the NFL locker room, don't know exactly what it's like or how guys are feeling. I just try to give guys that little insight of, look, this is exactly what it is, man. And hopefully I can just be truthful and, you know, just tell it how it is, and don't sugarcoat anything, and just be that NFL insider for the media, man. That's all.
And you doing a great job, man. They got you on the bid, boy. Recipe for success, swag and surfing, man. You doing it, brother. You in there.
Right, yeah.
You have made it.
I might have to go back to the table, man, up this contract or something, man. They got me do a little lot over there at the stadium, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, can we get you pregame? Really before they come out the tunnel. We get your fourth quarter, the swag and surfing. Hey,
You're right. They got me all over there, don't they? You know?
Yeah.
You preach it.
Hey, you are a key cog of game day entertainment. Michael the Burger Turner, people. Get him hooked up, people.
Right. So as long as you people to recognize, man, I got somebody to go to bat for me, man.
Hey, look here. My fans and me, we got your back, brother. Hey, the Bossman Show family got you. They tell me, hey, we saw him. I said, yeah, he'll be on the show this week. Oh, I got y'all.
Yeah.
And I told him, you were here with us this week, as I promised him.
Yeah.
Well, no doubt, Mike. Hey, good. I was gonna have you on the show, my brother. I'll see you Sunday on the field, man. You know how we do on the field, bro. You know how we gonna do it.
I'll see you. Yeah. I'll see you on Sunday, man.
All right, folks. Michael Turner, the Bossman Show, people.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
Suntan City, let yourself shine.